It's and welcome back to my channel, and today is another bullet journal video. This one was recorded this summer as I was hospitalized, and it is a custom bullet journal setup for the month of July 2022, and this journal was made for a friend. So the theme for July was plant theme, and it was a lot of fun to do. Honestly, never did that before, and I had so much fun. I recommend it so much. And the journal that I'm using is a Lightroom 1917, and all of the supply that I'm using will be linked in the description box down below. And if you want to see all the close-ups of the spreads, you can find them at the end of the video or at the time written on the screen. So for this setup, as I mentioned, I was hospitalized when I made it. I had to be in a rehab center, a physical rehab, because I am paralyzed from the waist down, and we had hope that I would be able to walk again, which didn't happen, but I had a lot of fun there. It was a great experience and still made some progress. But basically, when I had free time from therapies, I was spending all that time doing this custom journal because I procrastinated it to the last minute, and 2 weeks before I had to give it back, I got hospitalized. So it was a little tense to finish, but it went all good in the end. But back to the setup, this is the cover page that I went for. And before going any further, yes, this journal is in French, so if you can't read what's written, it's probably because of that. But what I did is wrote July in French in 3D letters, and I colored it in black the front of the letters, and then at the bottom underneath it I added a shelf with a couple of books, and then I added plants all over it and two hanging plants. Sorry, one is just a normal one and the other one is in glass, which I found that was actually my favorite types to do, and I had a lot of fun. So that's the cover page, and then what I did is I did not color the books, if I remember correctly, but I am coloring the pods, which is what I'm doing now. And honestly, that was probably the hardest part, was to vary and have like a variety, because when I was sketching it, I was running into a problem where I had a couple plans that I already knew how to draw, but for the most part I had no idea what I was doing when I first started, so I was doing only the ones that I was comfortable doing, and unfortunately it was ended up looking like kind of all the same, so I had to find other doodles, and I loved learning, but also like it was kind of a mess. And then we are onto the monthly calendar, which for this one I decided to space out each box for each one of the days. And then I added a drop shadow, which if I remember correctly was green and brown, but don't quote me on that because it was done 6 months ago. But yeah, that's what I did. And then on the side, on the right side, which you can't really see because I have my arm, but I did shells with plants on it, and then at the top left corner I just wrote July again, and from the top of the page a couple plants are hanging, and then I just colored it in. I did the numbers for each day in the calendar and colored everything in, which took a long time, honestly. For being honest, I think this setup is the one that took me the longest to make. even though it was technically not the last one that I made. It's the last month for this custom bullet journal. I started it in August 2021, 2021, and it will finish in July 2022, so it's made for the school year. And apparently my memory was wrong, and I did all the drop shadows in green, and then I think I did in brown at the top of all the columns for putting which day it is. So I think that's what I did. I'm not sure, but the drop shadows actually were so fun to do. Honestly, I never really done them for my own journal, but I did them so many times with this, so I became an expert at doing those. I mastered it by the end of this. But yeah, that's what I did, and then I am coloring in the library, and then I will be adding colors to the plants. And I was right, I used brown for the header of each column. And yes, the week starts with the Monday and not a Sunday, just so you know. So yep, that's how it works where I live. Also, you may no, I don't think you can actually see, but the days are in French. If one day you want to see like the complete setup in French, I will gladly do it. I always wanted to, but I'm not sure. So I can do it, and then I will add, of course, subtitles. So just tell me in the comments if you would actually be interested in that or not. But yeah, so I added the last few touches to the spread, and then it was time to move on to the next one, which for this one is the habit tracker. If you haven't seen all of the previous custom month that I did, basically I just kept the same layout for each one of the month, and I always did the habit tracker this way. I have the tiny calendar version, and I have 5 for 5 habits, and then at the bottom I have a huge plant to fill in the space, and at the top it's written daily checkup because we don't actually have an equivalent to habit tracker in French, so I had to improvise. Also, you may be questioning why I do this in French, and it's just because I live in a country. We have 4 official languages: French, Italian, and German, and also Romansh, but that's like a dialect. And everyone learns English at school, so that's why I do all of this in English. And my mother actually spent a year in the US, so she taught me English when I was just a baby. And what you see me now doing is adding the first letter of each day to the monthly calendars, and then I doodled all the plans that I made, and I added just a line of color where she will be able to put what habits she's gonna track. And honestly, the leaves that you see me draw now, the bottom, the huge ones, are like the hardest ones to actually make. I don't know how people can draw this. I'm apparently not able to. I also did a couple hanging plants, another glass one at the top, and yeah, that's basically it for this specific page. And then the next one is a mood tracker, and that one was a nightmare to do. You will be able to see it in a second why it was an absolute nightmare, and here is why. So basically the entire thing is plants. There is 31 plants, individual, for each one of the days, and it took me hours to draw all of them. Thankfully I did not have to color them because it's a mood tracker and you have to color them in with the color corresponding to the mood of the day, so that saved me a lot of time. And basically the title of the page is my mood, because once again I don't really have a mood tracker name, a translation in French, so that's what I use. And then I just did all of those plants. It took hours, but honestly it's literally my favorite mood tracker out of every single one of them that I did. setup for my weekly spreads. If you're interested in that, don't forget to check that out on my channel. But basically what I did is separated each page into 4 and draw a line in between each day, and at the top, in the middle, in between, I have week and the number of the week written, and the week is calculated based on the first week of the school year, so that's why the numbers are really hard even though it's only the middle of the year. And then on the outer edge of each day I added a plant, and at the bottom of it I added what day it is, and I wrote the full name of the day, and the 8th one is for school because I am a high school student, and my friend who ordered this journal is also well, she's in my class, so obviously she is also a high school student, so that section is just dedicated to adding schoolwork and all of that. Even though technically we end school in July, so only part of the month actually needs the school thing, so yeah. But that's what I did for this one, and I love this particular layout because there is so much space to write to-dos and everything that is needed. And now I added all of the numbers, and then I passed on to the next weekly spread, and I can't remember if July had 4 or 5 weekly spreads, so that's gonna be a little surprise. But basically what I did next is individual boxes for each one of the days. So on the left side I have 4 boxes, and on the right side I have 3, and at the bottom I just had a line of color to separate the school section. And then on the upper left side I have a mini calendar, and also something that I forgot to mention is that I use Tombow markers, Tombow dual brush markers for all of the coloring and all of that. And basically I just alternated the boxes from left and right on each page, and also alternated the colors. And honestly, I'm in love with this spread. I really just love how it turned out, and I think of doing it in my own journal, so I don't know, we shall see. I think I actually used it for November now that I think about it. But yeah, that's basically what I did. And then I doodled plants everywhere and tried to vary what sort of plants I did. I did a couple cactuses, I think, here and there, and mostly hanging and pot plants. But it just took ages, honestly, to make, because there's a lot of details, and sometimes the leaves were multiple colors or stuff like that, so it was a mess. But in the end, it was well worth it because it is absolutely beautiful. Also, in the line of color at the top of each one of the days, I added the name of the day, so I can see which one it is. And I cannot remember whether or not I added on the opposite side that I put the name of the week, the number of the day. So that's something that I unfortunately don't remember, but you will be able to see a little more in details at the end in the close-ups if you want to see that. And now we are on to the next weekly spread, which is kind of a classic for me. I pretty much did this exactly out a bajillion times throughout my journal and this journal, and it's just separating the pages into third, which means that I have space for each one of the days. And actually at the bottom I use the last one as a weekend, so I do it all across and it's a weekend spread. And then what I forgot to do at the time is add the school at the top, so where you would have the fourth day, that's what I do now. I added school, and then I added all of the name of the days, and on the other side, on the left side, I added an event section, which is basically just a small box for each one of the days to put any appointments, events, anything that happens that day that doesn't belong in the tasks. So it helps have a more visual representation of what happens for every single day. And if I'm correct, this could be the last weekly spread. So what I did for this specific one is to use a more vertical layout, which means that I did vertical boxes, 3 on each page, and the last column has 2 stacked together on top of each other, which is for the weekend. And at the top of each one of them I added a plant, and somewhere in that plant I added the number corresponding to the day, and underneath that pot I added what day it was. And then I decorated the bottom of the spread with more plants, and then at the bottom underneath the Monday, so the first box on the left side, I added the school section, so that's what you will be able to see in a second. But I just did a brown line and added the school on top of it, and then colored it in all of the plants, and then later on I added the name of the days underneath it, and then the numbers corresponding. But yeah, that's basically all of the process for this complete monthly setup for this custom order. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe for more. I will let you guys with the close-up of the spreads in a second. But before that, don't forget to check out all of my other social medias. I'm very active on TikTok, Pinterest, and I will be trying to get back to Instagram at the beginning of this year, of the next year, sorry. So I hope I will see you guys back there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!